What's up? Wanted to talk about DSLR cameras, phone cameras, and whatever, and really reasons why I still use my Canon SL2 right here, but reasons why I'm leaning more towards the mobile, the iPhone area, but also why, advantages and disadvantages over using either platform. So, starting with the DSLR, my Canon SL2 in this case, one of the biggest reasons you would ever want to use a DSLR camera for any kind of photo or video work, the fact that you can use all these different lenses. I kind of have them hidden. But yeah, here's all the lenses I got with my camera, and some of them are, the crop sensor lenses, some of them are the full frame lenses, but with the Canon SL2 I can use either crop sensor or full frame lenses with it. But that's not vice versa though. You can't put crop sensor lenses on a full frame sensor unless Canon for some reason made that a thing, or unless you get an adapter. And that's where we get to our first disadvantage over using the DSLR cameras, right? It can get expensive very, very fast, okay? I spent nearly $1,000 on this lens alone, okay? And the thing about it, if you've been a photographer for a very long time, you know the value, well, most people who have been, in photography for a while know the value that using a lens like this brings. And it's unfortunate because it goes underutilized and the price is just so exorbitant. You gotta really know what you're doing with the DSLR camera to get those results, to distinguish your photos and your videos from things that are recorded on mobile devices. But nowadays, and given the average, not to sound rude here, but the average skill of, the average photographer or people making videos or whatever, the line between advantages you can get with the DSLR over the mobile device is just getting larger and larger. It's starting to all blend together. And even now, the iPhone can do its own version of macro. Like, yeah, the portrait mode's a thing, but the portrait mode still has a way to go, but the macro thing is pretty impressive. But yeah, like right now I got a lens on here. I got the 2470L that can do, 24 to 70, but it can also do macro as well if I hold down this lever on the other side. And that's what I've been using for a lot of my recent videos and stuff, those macro shots, those super close-up shots. But I've been experimenting with the iPhone macro too, and it's been pretty dang good, honestly. But, just because I have the time and, well, really, this thing's already paid off itself over the 5 or 6 years I've been using it. Since I just have the time and experience and I'm used to the workflow. Workflow is another thing I'll talk about. I prefer using the DSLR because I know I can get a really good result and control everything. But yeah, the mobile device is catching up. The only thing that's really holding back phones and other mobile devices from, doing, from really outright replacing the DSLR is the software and how stingy Apple and a lot of other companies are being with the controls that you have over the exposure triangle on your phone. And I mean, Apple doesn't let you mess with your ISO. They don't let you mess with the shutter. They don't have the ability to have aperture that's adjustable as well. And I feel like all those things are coming though. And once that happens, and once there's larger sensors and legit ways to attach, decent lenses, yeah, the line between these two is going to be different. The long exposures, being able to manually set your shutter speed, and like, yeah, some apps offer that through, software or whatever, but it's not the same as this, where you actually tell the camera, hey, keep the mirror in here open for 30 seconds in my case right now. So there's still a bit of a ways to go, I'll admit. But the biggest reason why I wouldn't recommend just hopping into DSLR other than the fact, yeah, that the line's starting to blur or whatever. Like I said, this gets expensive really fast. Okay, I mean the body alone for in this case, this camera is not that expensive. It's really the lower end DSLR camera, and to be honest, in many ways, is a downgrade from the T5 I used to have. And yeah, I could go full frame, but that's at least $700 for the body in good working condition. If I wanted a new one, that would be over $1,000 for the body. And then if I want a half decent lens to fully utilize that full frame sensor I just got, remember I distinguished the crop sensor lenses, that little square right there, that's how you tell. And the full frame, little red dot there, that's how you tell. If I want to fully utilize that full frame camera, well, now I got to get really nice glass, what they call it. And I mean, a good enough photographer honestly doesn't need the best gear, but also a good enough photographer knows how to fully utilize their gear, and they know the value in getting better gear. And yeah, that gets expensive really, really fast. And for that money, you could buy maybe 3 brand new iPhones. Okay, you could buy 3 brand new iPhones. You could buy lighting. The lighting would be really nice. If you can control lighting, you can get a long way with even the mobile lens. You could buy microphones. Like I'm sure many of my viewers wish I'd finally buy a microphone, like a half decent microphone that's not the one I use for voiceovers and whatever. You could pay rent. You could pay gas for your car so you can go on locations and get really cool scenic backdrops or whatever, and still have some money left over. Aside from just getting a really nice camera and a nice body that you probably don't even know how to use, to be honest. I mean, not trying to be mean, but honestly, like, it takes time to really learn this thing. It takes years, okay? It's not something you just do overnight. It comes with experience. And I have over 7 years of professional photography experience, and yeah, like, I'm still learning, okay? To make that kind of investment is just a really big pill to swallow, okay? And there are so much better things you can do with that money. That's the biggest reason I go against really buying a DSLR camera with full functionality. Unless you're willing to take that risk, okay? Unless you're willing to take that risk, unless you know you can get your money's worth out of it. I mean, you got the companies like Leica and Hasselblad and stuff like that. Yeah, like top tier people know how to fully utilize that, but that's a whole different market. That's really just people who want a luxury camera, okay? And yeah, like I said, only top tier people really know how to utilize something like that. But hopefully, it just sucks because Canon has only come out with, well, the ones I've heard of. I've only heard of new Canon cameras being just like the R series and being these insane $7,000 camera bodies. I haven't really heard of them coming out with anything consumer level. I don't think they care, and they should. They should really focus on making affordable full frame. I think crop sensor is just a waste of time at this point. They should really focus on making full frame affordable full frame camera bodies, maybe even a full frame camera body with an integrated lens. Because if they can make all that together, I feel like production may be cheaper or whatever. There's options out there, okay, for them to make a new affordable full frame camera setup. They're just not. And in the world where like mobile devices are getting way better, that's something that they should consider. They should make it easy to use, but give you the full control over shutter, aperture, and ISO, give you the exposure triangle, give you the manual focus, and some good stabilization. They'll have a winner. But they just haven't made anything like that. At least not one that I've heard of. I've only heard of the stuff that they post on Instagram, the new $7,000 camera that they came out with that no one's going to buy. Except for Net Geo Wild, so they can make more sponsored Net Geo Wild ads or whatever, or just influence like rich parents to buy these crazy cameras that their kids are never going to utilize. It's wild, okay? And this is me coming from a marketing background. If something like that existed, I would have heard about it, okay? But I just haven't. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything in that realm yet. But yeah, that's really pretty much it. Yeah, so biggest advantages you get with the DSLR, you get control. You get control, and if you know how to use that control, you get the best quality ever, blows mobile devices out the water. But yeah, with what mobile devices are doing, the biggest risk is that you're spending all this money and you're not even fully utilizing it, and your phone that costs a third of the cost of all that stuff can do it just as good. And if you're good enough, it can maybe do it better and easier, especially with the workflow differences. Like this one, you got to use a SD card, and you got to take it off the camera. You got to find a way to transfer the photo files to your computer or to your phone. And I think more recent cameras have a faster ability to do that. Even this thing has Bluetooth that would transfer the photos to an app on your phone, but then you have to download that anyway, so it's kind of loses the whole point of that. And even then, it's not full quality in some cases. So it's like you got to have patience too with the DSLR camera. But if you've had one for long enough, if you've done enough research, then yeah, you can get over that. But at the same time, is it worth it when your phone can do the same, if not better, in some cases? Not every case, but in some cases. But yeah, mobile is creeping up. If only Apple and Samsung just unlocked those features, and they gave you more customizability when it comes to, doing everything, then yeah, I can see a world where DSLRs are just not as what's the word I'm looking for? Or not as dang, this is the problem with doing live takes. You're trying to remember words and you just can't. Oh man, I can't think of the word right now. I'm so sorry. But anyway, here's the video. I'm gonna end it here. That means it's time to end the video. Thanks for watching as always. With this channel, I just want to like save y'all money and time. Because I got a lot of, like I said, marketing and photography experience, and now product management experience too. And I have passions for products and different stuff, just like anyone else has. But yeah, my hobbies are not always the cheapest. So if I can, go through all this and just share my experience, and people learn something from it, then yeah, that's the whole purpose. And I found the word I was looking for. People may aspire to buy the DSLRs for, the super quality and whatever. But yeah, if they don't know what they're doing, or the cost is just too high to really make sense, you'll get that value out of whatever is in your pocket right now. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching as always, and more soon.